$30,000 lost in 24 hours. Actually, it's worse than that because that's $30,000 reoccurring monthly revenue. So it's actually like $360,000 a year. And I got some cracking lessons from it. Lessons that I'm going to share with you guys today, so you guys can hold on to that cash. Quick one for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jordan Platten and I own Affluent.co. We're a multi-platform digital marketing agency based here in the UK, and we're responsible for generating millions in new revenue for companies all over the globe every single month. Now, my agency generates 7 figures in yearly profit, and this YouTube channel is where I come to share free lessons that I've learned over the past few years with you guys for free. Cool. Now at my agency, we work with e-commerce brands, which are any companies that sell products online direct to consumers. And we help them to increase their monthly sales through paid advertising on platforms like Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, a little bit of YouTube, and a little bit of Google as well. But right now, the core is TikTok and Facebook ads. And we charge our clients what is called a ROAS percentage, which is return on ad spend. So we will charge our clients a small percentage of the total return on investment we make for them every single month. And this percentage will range from 1% all the way through to 10 or sometimes even 15%, depending on the client's profit margin. So what this might look like is, let's say a brand is spending $10,000 a month on TikTok ads with us, and we generate them $100,000 in return on investment. If we take away the ad spend, we're left with $90,000 in operating profit. And let's say our ROAS commission for this client is 10%, we would invoice them $9,000 for that 1 month service. And as you can imagine, when we're generating multiple hundreds of thousands, if not millions in return on investment every single month, those commission checks get pretty lofty. Now, right at the start of this year, we lost one of those very big clients without warning straight after paying their final invoice. A client that was paying us upwards of $30,000 every single month for that return on ad spend commission. And granted, we were making them millions on a monthly basis, but without warning, after months and months, they had been shadowing us and they took their service in-house. They trained their in-house team to replicate the strategy that we had implemented for them on Facebook, and they said, you know what, I don't want to pay an agency anymore. I'm going to pay somebody in-house instead. And that sucked, right? It was a big kick in the teeth and it was a shock to the entire team. And to make things worse, we knew they were never going to be able to replicate our results. We knew that it was not going to be as easy as they clearly thought it would be to just go ahead and replicate our strategy. And that made things worse. But the worst thing we could have done in that situation was get angry or try to pursue them for leaving their contract early and breaking their contract terms, because they had to give us at least 30 days notice, but they didn't. Okay, they sent us a relatively polite message, but they left us in the dark, not giving us time to replace their income like any decent business person would. And sure, we could have gone down the legal route and we could have reached out to lawyers and our solicitors could have got involved, but all that would have done would bring bad energy and bad vibes within the company, and everybody would be wondering about the progress of that case and not focusing on just improving the business and what we could actually learn from this situation and how we can adapt the company and ensure this doesn't happen going forward. Our biggest mistake is that we didn't even realize, we didn't have a clue this was going to happen, which is why it was even more of a shock to us. We'd got so complacent on how amazing this client's results were, and they were generating so much new revenue from us. We literally scaled them from a 6-figure monthly business to a 7-figure monthly business. All of their major growth was because of us and our advertising, that we presumed they would never leave us, that it would be physically impossible, that it wouldn't even go across their mind. So much so that we were clouded by our results and we failed to look at their selfish desires and what they wanted to benefit from this. And for us not to be so naive that they were our friends and not just business relationships. Because at the end of the day, if you're spending $30,000 a month and you think that it's possible that you can cut those costs down by 10x and bring things in-house and get the same amount of service, if you're led to believe that, then why wouldn't you do so? And we were clouded by our relationship and jaded by the results, and we thought we were invisible, and we should have recognized that a lot sooner. And one of the things that we should have done is service stack this client. With this individual client, we were only running ads on 2 different platforms, on Facebook and on TikTok. Therefore, in their minds, it probably wasn't all that complicated, right? They thought they could just get somebody from their team watching our ads on a daily basis, reverse engineering our strategy over the course of a few months, and then hire an average media buyer and hey, presto, they've saved themselves $30,000 every month, right? And our transparent relationship probably aided that thought process. But we know it really isn't that simple. And looking at the back end of their data and the ads that they're running right now, I'd hazard a guess that things aren't going too well. But irrelevant of that situation, I want to talk to you guys about what we have changed going forward in our agency and the major lessons we have taken from this and how we're going to prevent this happening going forward. And the first thing you need to understand is that every client has a life cycle. You're not going to retain every client that you've ever signed forever. Eventually, people want to take things in-house. Eventually, someone might want to try another agency even when your results are great. Someone in their family might start ads and say, hey, look, I can replicate this service, and they give them a go. Or maybe they close down their business or sell to somebody else. For whatever reason, you won't retain every client forever, and that's okay. An agency has a very natural churn rate with their clients, and you've got to look at it like a living, breathing organism. And as long as we're keeping our pipeline full and we're always signing up more clients than we are losing, then we have a healthy, growing business. But you cannot hold on to and build resentment around clients leaving you. It's a natural part of your agency, and you need to be ready for it when you're first starting out. I think the first couple of losses, you really take the hardest. I remember when I lost my first client, in fact, actually the first client I lost, I sacked them off because they weren't very good for me. I'm going to create a video on that soon, actually. But the first client who left me, I took pretty hard. And I remember thinking it was about my results. And to be honest, it was. I didn't really get them very good results. And I beat myself up over it for a while. And I also chased the revenue. I was upset that I had lost that money and I thought I was entitled to that. And all of a sudden, every new client I sign is a new revenue threshold, and it means I'm automatically gonna stay and making that amount of money forever. That was the first kick in the teeth of business, and you cannot get used to that. And you need to be ready and mentally prepared for client churn in your agency. It is perfectly natural and necessary. So what are some of the things that we did in this individual instance that we changed going forward? Well, one thing we did was we introduced client back-end data. So in our agency management system, we created a new board where we have all of our clients listed, and next to it, we have a satisfaction rating. How satisfied we think that client is at any one time. And based on the conversations we are having with clients on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, communication differs from client to client, we'll change that satisfaction rating out of 10. We also have a note section next to that where we will put down notes of any suspicions that we have or anything that we think we can do to improve the relationship. So we have this data trail of the relationships with each and every one of our clients and how satisfied we think they are. So we can prepare for whether we think a client might leave us or not. And on the flip side to that, we know when a client is exceptionally happy, we can ask them for referrals or testimonials. So this goes both ways. And I think it's really important that you understand as an agency how satisfied your clients are at any one time on an individual basis. And you have open conversations with them about that. Now, the next thing we did is introduce roadmaps for each and every one of our clients. Now, these aren't always time-based. Sometimes they are, and we'll say, okay, this is our plan for the next 3 months, maybe 6 months or 12 months. Sometimes they don't even have a time span, but we want to make sure that each and every one of our clients has a future plan with us. So regardless of whether we've scaled them from 100K a month to 1 million a month, we have plans for the future, so our clients always have something to be looking forward to throughout our relationship. Now, we're not just introducing this to our existing clients, but we've also introduced this in our sales calls as well with new clients. So when we sign up a new client, we sign them up on our stage 1 of the roadmap, and we lay out to them what the plan would be for stage 2 and stage 3. So they are already thinking about the next steps before they have even started working with our agency. And so with every conversation, we're introducing more longevity. Now, the biggest benefit here has been with our existing client base. We hosted a meeting with every individual client, even if we've been working with them for 3 years, and we built that bespoke roadmap for them, and it enabled us to upsell them to new services that we hadn't sold them on previously. And as an agency, it's very easy for you to be complacent on the results you're getting for a client. If we've scaled someone from 10K to 100K, it's easy for our ads team to think that's the end goal and we can just continue scaling them through Facebook ads. But in doing that, we lose sight of other holes in their marketing strategy. And in doing this alone, we pretty much replaced that entire 30K in lost income just from internal upsells, not including all of the new clients we signed up in the meantime as well, which has put us in a way greater position. And so our agency now is in a much stronger position, stronger than it has ever been. And I'm grateful that we had the experience to lose a very large client, to have a bit of a kick in the teeth and have a realization and have some valuable lessons. Because no matter where you are or how much money your agency is making, there are always new lessons to be learned. And sometimes these things are unpreventable and you can't do anything about them. And that is the natural life cycle of business. You will lose clients from time to time. And that's why it's so important you have a solid sales system, both inbound and outbound, so you always keep your pipeline full. And that's it. Cool. Guys, if you want to hear more stories like this, I write emails every single week to our database of agency owners. 3 emails a week. One, which is a story of my life, things that happened in my life and the agency. One is a client success story, and the other is a YouTube video that I posted out, and I write these emails myself. If you go to affluent.academy/newsletter, you can sign up to that and start receiving those emails. Sweet. See you soon.